everybody. And welcome back to the Turn the Tassel Show. My name is Stephen Harris, and I'm your host. And as always, we're here to help you and the people you love get to and through college, university, or the trade schools earlier on time with minimum to no debt. Today we are wrapping up our series on the trades, because we're going to continue to talk about the trades throughout our work because it's so important. And we're going to look at something to really talk about choice and really thinking through how we make our choices, but also the consequences of those choices, right? So, again, I've really enjoyed this series because, we've spent so much time and gone to great length, if you will, to talk through how to do college and university well. And that's right and proper. And to be clear, colleges and universities are still viable, very much so. And I still truly believe, as I've said before, that I know of no other venue in life where you can truly change the trajectory of your family tree and change your life. I know of no other way to do that than through education, primary, secondary, post-secondary, which is college, university, and beyond. But understand that post-secondary also includes the trades, right? So we're going to go back to Micro and the MicroWorks Foundation and the sweat pledge that he has as they give out scholarships to people that are going to blue-collar work. And I want to encourage you, if you are looking for resources to fund your working trades kind of career path, please do visit microworks.org. They have phenomenal scholarships. They have the pledge, and they want you to take a look at that and incorporate that into your essay and all that good stuff. But it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. And today we're going to look at pledge number 6. And, pledge number 6, I'll cut to it here in just a moment. The sister says, I believe that my safety is my responsibility. And I understand that being in compliance does not necessarily mean I'm out of danger. And I think that's important because you'll see there's life lessons and applications to this message. And so, without further ado, I'm going to cut to camera 2.
You've been listening to my friend Chuck too much.
It's true. I do have a reinforcement. Oh my God! I can't say if I had a nickel for every time he says, "I got it, I got it, got it." Understand? Because I tend to over-explain, and by over-explain, I mean I go on and on and on about what the point that I'm trying to make.
Fair use.
Back in 2005, I think it was, I was working on a scaffold that was maybe 4 feet off the ground. Because I was on camera, the safety compliance manager on site told me to put on my harness. When I pointed out that the safety line attached to the harness was longer than the distance between the ground and me, he said, "Don't argue, safety first." Later that same week, another compliance officer, this one with the Department of Natural Resources, interrupted our shoot to insist that I put on a life jacket while installing a culvert and a runoff pond. Now, the water in the pond was less than a foot deep. When I asked him to explain the need for a grown man to wear a life jacket in 10 inches of water, the compliance professional said the same thing: safety first. From 2004 till 2008, the Dirty Jobs crew visited more hazardous work sites than any other crew in the history of television. From crab boats to coal mines to factory floors to construction sites to the very tops of the tallest bridges to crocodile-infested swamps. And during that time, we sat through dozens of mandatory safety briefings. We all became intimately familiar with all the basic protocol: lockout, tagout, confined space, fall hazards, respiratory precautions, PPE, the endless checklists, etc., etc. Through it all, trained professionals were always on hand to remind us that our safety was their priority. For a while, the whole safety first mantra worked pretty well. We managed to deliver 3 seasons of Dirty Jobs with no accidents. Then, in season 4, things started to unravel. Stitches, a broken bones, sprains, contusions, falls, a damaged eardrum, second and third degree burns, and many more near misses. It was weird and scary. The job sites were no more dangerous than they'd always been, but the mishaps among my crew were skyrocketing. One day, I came across this study that concluded the most dangerous traffic intersections were those with signs that told pedestrians when to walk and when to wait. Intersections with no such signs were statistically safer because people were more likely to look both ways before crossing the street if there was no blinking sign to tell them when it was safe to do so. They call it a risk compensation. This idea that people subconsciously maintain their own level of risk equilibrium by adjusting their behavior to reflect the changes in their surrounding environment. So when the environment around us feels unsafe, we take fewer chances. And when that same environment starts to feel safer, we take more chances. Statistically, motorcycle riders with helmets drive faster than motorcycle riders without helmets. They take more chances. Anyway, that got me wondering, when these compliance professionals tell us over and over and over that our safety is their priority, wouldn't that tend to make us feel safer? And wouldn't that in turn prompt us to assume more risk, thereby making us less safe? I think that's exactly what happened to me and my crew. We got complacent. We bought into this nonsense that somebody actually cares more about our well-being than we do. We were crossing the street because the sign told us it was safe to do so, and we were staying in the crosswalk, but we weren't looking both ways. In other words, we were in compliance, but we were not out of danger. And that could be hazardous to your health. Bottom line, guidelines are great, but they're no substitute for common sense. Just because the sign says 55 miles an hour doesn't mean you should drive the speed limit in an ice storm. Your safety is your responsibility. Anybody who tells you something different, they're not protecting you. They're protecting themselves. I believe that my safety is my responsibility. I understand that being in compliance does not necessarily mean I'm out of danger.
All right, we'll go ahead and stop it there. So what's the application here for college, university, and even the trade schools as we wrap up this conversation in this series on the working trades? So many of us have been convinced by really good marketing, really good play on emotions, this whole idea of wanting our children and even ourselves to maximize and realize our potential, all these things. We've been convinced that college is the pathway for that. And the truth of it is, we've accepted that so thoroughly that we've received that as safety, that going to college and getting a degree is the safest way to ensure that you're going to be successful in this life. And the more we've been convinced that that's the safe way to go, the less safe we've practically and actually become. And again, this has nothing to do with college in and of itself. College and university is a good thing. We've been over that. But anything that you would just blindly accept and choose to just go with, right? When you have absolute trust in other people's desire to do what's in your best interest, and you give over that responsibility to other people, you are opening yourself up for significant disappointment. One of my dear friends from my childhood, his mom, Becky, used to say, "You are cruising for bruising." Shout out to Becky for that. Thanks, Becky. But suffice it to say, we here at Turn the Task Consulting Group are here to assist you, to help you to make the best possible choice for you. Check that. We're here to help you make the best possible choice for you. We're not here to make the decisions for you. We are not here to guarantee you safety. We're not here to guarantee and to put your, future and your financial and otherwise safety as our number one priority. Realizing your educational and vocational goals is what we are here to support you and assist you in achieving with a plan that works. And it works because most people don't have a plan at all. And not just having the plan, but having someone to walk with you and to hold you accountable to it, to help you to reorganize and strategize when the plan needs adjustment because life happens. Okay, that's what we're here at Turn Task Consulting Group to do, to support you in achieving your educational and ultimately your vocational goals. Okay, but I want to encourage you here today that proverbially speaking, you need to make sure that when it comes to anything in life, but especially your education, since it's become so expensive, you have to make sure that you're not just going one way because everybody says that's the way to go. You've got to be willing to look both ways. In fact, I'm going to say it's even bigger than that, as I'm adjusting this microphone again. I'm going to say it's even bigger than that. It's even bigger. It's more than just look both ways. You got to imagine that as it relates to your career, your vocation, and your passion, and where you ultimately end up doing for your career, right? You want to make a good living wage where you can provide for your family, etc. someday, if not presently, if you're a continuing education adult learner, non-traditional learner. Okay? The point is, you have to recognize that it's not just one way or another way, right? You got to realize that proverbially you're walking up to or driving up to a 7-point intersection. And there are many different ways that you can go. Many different ways. So you need not be so caught up in the one way that everyone says you need to go to college. They say that's the way. Well, the numbers and the statistics, the data and the figures do not support that as true. Not anymore. It doesn't. The data and statistics, as I have gone over ad nauseum on this channel, and as I've talked about at length, make it very clear that for most people who don't have the money to pay for college, if they go the traditional route, the one way, everyone needs to go to the 4-year and poo-poo the community college, poo-poo training schools, okay, right? The one way is go to the big ticket school, right? Most of those people are failing at life, having gone through that experience. The numbers, figures, data, statistics does not support that going to college is a path that everybody should take. And it certainly doesn't support that that's the only way that you can make a really good living in this life. Not anymore. The cost to attend college, university in Western culture today has so exponentially exploded that it is no longer, in most instances, it is no longer a good return on investment if you do it the traditional way. That's why looking at it differently, that's why not going the safe route and doing what everybody else is doing, that's why it's such a radical concept. Am I saying don't go to college university? No, I'm saying go to the right college university based on your needs, your interests, your ability to pay. But don't just hook, line, sinker, follow all the other lemmings off the cliff. Don't just fall in line behind the sheep in front of you that's headed head first into the slaughterhouse. Get a plan. I want to encourage you today, if you haven't done so already, it's time. It's overtime. It is past time. You need to get your plan in place. You need to contact us and go ahead and get your free consultation. 484-574-1866 is our number. You can text us there. I need a plan. Or you can email us at turningcastle@gmail.com. Same subject line, a new plan. We will work with you, free consultations to show you what your options are. The alternative is to play it safe, to just book one way, and ultimately get crushed by an oncoming truck you never saw coming, which is $1.73 plus trillion of student loan debt. Don't do that. Get a plan instead. I'm Stephen Ampersand, and this is Turn the Tassel.